So tell us what happened with the fabulous crown. Did you meet the prince?
I got
Put on the
to, you
crown?
know what, he was the most lovely Prince Charming. Like, he's Prince Charming. That should be his real name. He looks you right in the eye. He talks right to you and asks all these amazing questions that we had him laughing and joking, and he took his time, and you really feel like that minute that you have with him or 30 seconds that you have with him is a lifetime. It gives you goosebumps just to think about it. It's wonderful.
That's cool. And did you shake his hand too, or did you
I
just
did.
give him the crown?
I gave him the crown, and we talked for quite a while because
What
I'd
did
also
you chat about?
Well, because I've given jewelry to Queen Elizabeth and his father and Camilla.
Oh,
so,
wow.
And I met his mother, so he was like, he's pretty.
So you've met
he
the-
was starstruck at me. What can I say?
So as we say in Jewish, you met the whole mishpacha, which means the whole family.
That's
She
right.
met all the cousins.
I know everybody. I'm in like this.
So were you chosen to meet him?
No,
or?
it was just tenacity, and a lot of good luck and everything else that goes into making something happen.
So
Right?
did you go to Texas to get a little bit more of this tenacity, or were you born with it in Canada? That's-
No, I think I was born with it, but I opened up a new store in Austin. It's all about jewelry and things that I make, and it's called The Secret Life of Gay Isber and her sugar factory on Koenig. And that's because everything I do, it's like there's no sign. You just have to know to come into my world.
That's really great.
It's pretty cool.
And we were also talking about a few other Texas stores, because we are here to talk about the pesticide-free lawns that Gay's just been sitting on and dancing
That's right.
on.
The dancing on, barefooted.
And you were telling us what you thought about that, like about the
Yeah.
river and all that. If you could just...
Yeah, you know, back in my days, I worked for a radio station that was totally supported by Band. I can say that now, and because we don't really sell Band here in Canada, but it was very odd that every problem they had, it was Band. Put some Band on it. I'm like, why are we killing the earthworms and the spiders and all the things that are really important to make a healthy lawn? So I'm very much I like to grow almost earthworms when I'm thinking about my lawn now. So I know that pesticides have really been awful for many, many years. And we're right on a major waterway. So all of this would just run right into our beautiful water. And why we would do that doesn't even make sense. When a little bit of weeds, if everybody just picked up one weed and walked home, it would be over. And really, weeds aren't that bad. They're still green.
I mean, they're plants, you know.
They're
This
plants.
is plantain, this is good
Yes,
for bug bites.
that's right.
Dandelion's good for your liver,
Yes,
you know.
and
so.
there's nothing bad about all this. I do think that the pesticides and the herbicides are something that, in Canada, we've really embraced as something that needs to go away. And you cannot buy them in the stores. If you go to
I know,
you go to
darling.
Walmart, you go to a Home Depot, there's not really
Canadian Tire, we got to put the
Canadian
Canadian
Tire.
stores,
Okay,
so
yes,
they were
sorry.
the first.
And you know, I think that the whole wide world should embrace this whole idea and the culture of just live with it green. Be green at all costs. And also don't litter, because there's a lot of people living here, but not as
But it
bad.
will be picked up. This we do know, because I saw them
I'm
doing
going to
that.
jump up in 10 minutes if this isn't picked up. It
Now
really
she's showing
bothers
her
me.
Canadian, but the tenacity had a lot of Texas to it. So, as she's sometimes called, Sugar, can you tell us a little bit more about the prince and what else he said, what you guys chatted
Yeah,
about?
well, we talked about the fact that we're very proud that they're here, because this is a very important day for Canada. We understand that, you know, a lot of us are here because that he's here. It does help our economy, but we didn't talk about that. But, you know, the whole thing that he's here and that we love him, we're supporting the history of Canada, the past, and also the near future, because they're going to be bringing in new royals to all this. And, you know, I'm not going to
that's right.
I'm not going to talk about babies with him, but, you know, it's kind of like, in two brief sentences on that topic, I was explaining to him why there's so much love for him because of the history, and you know, it's a wonderful, and his grandmother is wonderful. She's on our money here. Like, we love the Queen.
And
so
you met her as well.
I met her. She was charming, and I had her laughing, and
What
she
did
had
you
a great
tell
time.
the Queen? This is even better than I thought. What did you tell the Queen?
Well, because when Prince Charles were here with Camilla, I made a piece of jewelry for him to take home to his mother. Because when you're on a trip, you take something home to your mother.
Right.
And I knew that she didn't probably get it, so I was saying, you know, I'm pretty sure Camilla got your bracelet, so I made you another one. And she howled. She thought that she's like, that bitch Camilla, she got my bracelet.
She didn't
I know she didn't say that part, but I know she was thinking it. Like, Camilla, where's the bling, baby? Bring it home. So we had fun. Even the Secret Service people that were hiding her, everybody was laughing. Like, it was funny. She was very nice. She's very, very nice.
And that's the other thing when you're at a Canadian event. The RCMP had this like friendly smile. We're watching you, but like last year there was like good cop, bad cop. There was the guy who's like looking like this, and there was the other guy who's coming up and doing like stand up.
I know, and you want to say straighten your tie, like be proper, like really you're part of the CSIS, like look proper. But you know what? There's also notice there's no Secret Service here, and there was no like metal detector checks, and yet we had the head of our country here, our Prime Minister, and our Governor General, who I worked with back in Waterloo. I did party planning for the University of Waterloo, so I know him.
So you
nicest
know,
man in the whole wide
His
world.
Excellency, the Governor General,
David Johnston. I've been to his Chatterbox Farm many times to do events, but
he's a very intelligent man.
he's huge at
French
Harvard.
needs a little bit of
we're happy with him. You know what? He's the best. He's the best man for this job. I could not. And I talked to Stephen Harper about this yesterday, about how great the
Oh my
David Johnson
God,
is.
she was talking to Stephen Harper too.
Well, I was a little bit talking to Stephen Harper because
That's the Prime Minister,
our
for
Prime
those of you who
Minister,
don't know.
Because I actually sent jewelry to his wife back before the Olympics.
And she's a big supporter of the arts.
Yes, and I copied an article where she was quoted about supporting the arts and wrote this really great letter about how I am part of the arts. And they sent the jewelry back because she can't accept gifts. And then she wore some plastic shit to the Olympics. I was like, what? What? You had the best, and then you wore plastic. Okay, you're off my list. You're not getting any more shit from me. But David Johnson.
Go Canada!
I'm telling you.
Oh
We're
my
talking
God!
pesticides and jewelry.
So back to the pesticides. Back to the pesticides and Stephen Harper.
Oh yes. Well,
Hey, and I want them not to let me get in. I'm not making a comment on you, Mr. Prime Minister, that you use pesticides in your yard, because I don't know.
Okay.
And it's, well, it would be my business, because I would ask you not to in a polite Canadian way. I wouldn't impose.
maybe I could just send her some jewelry anonymously without a return address, and then they couldn't send it back. But anyway, Chatterbox Farm will be getting a good little gift when I head back. I'm heading back to Waterloo, but they live right by there.
So what do you think? We've talked about the pesticides that probably do get used somewhere in Texas. Every time you see a little yellow sign, and the idea that maybe Americans might go in the way that the Canadians did. Start thinking about the kids and the water.
I'm pretty sure it has to do more with the. We have some huge companies that are in charge of these pesticides that are huge lobbyists, and they make their living by selling this. And you have to know that there's got to be some kind of a connection why we're not getting rid of those. It's just one more way for somebody to make money. Although if they would embrace the neotodes and some of the other pesticides that are more natural,
Right.
then they would have another market.
Like we call them
natural's
amendments.
important.
Actually, you can't call something a fertilizer if it doesn't
Right.
have a really high concentration of nitrogen, NPK. And so some of those amendments are quite gentle. They're made locally. When I was out in BC, I took a course on this stuff, and they're made like from kelp from the ocean, right there, and it's just,
Well, even from human sewage, because the dirts that. Okay, sorry, but I'm just saying this.
no. I'm telling you why, because they've actually found that company is not so good after all.
Good.
That it's not such a good thing. We'll keep that out of it. But,
there are alternatives, and the alternatives are getting better and better. It's just like everything else. We need to have solar. We need to have wind. We need to be gentle on our grass. We need to be gentle on our waters. These are all really educated decisions that we need to make as a collective to make sure that everybody understands and isn't going the opposite direction because they're misinformed.
Wow. Well, Day, sugar, Queen meeting, Prince handshake, Prince crown giving, Texan, Canadian, pearl wearing.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you make that one, by the way?
Oh yes, of course.
Gorgeous,
of
gorgeous.
course.
We love this woman, and she will become a friend of Leo. We hope.
Oh yes, of course.
Leo
We'll come do some fundraising with some.
Oh, I love it.
something
Oh,
like
I
that.
love it. Even better. Yeah.
Make it happy for you, because it is important. We all need to take a stand, and I think that Canada's done a great job on this, and cities have thrown out the pesticide companies and said no more.
I
no
agree.
more.
Or switch to the natural organic alternatives.
Right.
But so just to repeat, Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, 40 communities in BC. Manitoba's looking at it. New Brunswick has been flirting with it. Even Newfoundland. Let's talk. I tried to meet up with Great Big C. Let's talk with those guys and see what they can do. Because once Great Big C puts its name behind something,
That's
it happens, right?
That's right.
So yay! Happy
Happy
Canada
Canada
Day.
Day.
Happy
Fed to
British
Canada.
monarchy.
That's
And,
right. I had to be wrapped
happy
in the whole.
pesticide-free Canada.
And I have lived my dream and been wrapped in a flag and loving every minute of it. So come see Canada and meet me here next year. We'll do it again.